Greetings from Costa Rica. Today I'm talking to one of Costa Rica's most experienced builders and hotel operators. Brad Schmidt has been building and living here in Costa Rica for 27 years. He's got a lot of insight to share about what it means to build not only a quality structure but a quality hotel. Stay tuned. Greetings from Costa Rica. I hope you're doing well. My name is Matt Rosensteel, and today I'm joined by Brad Schmidt. Brad, thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's good to be here.
Brad has lived and worked in Costa Rica for 27 years, built a ton of buildings, structures, hotels, all kinds of stuff through your construction business, R&S Design and Construction. He actually popped into both of my offices, my prior office and my new office, just to talk about the possibilities of building in the area. Immediately I recognized that this is somebody with a ton of insight to share. He also has this beautiful hotel around us for sale in Tamarindo. So today we're going to talk to him not only about building in Costa Rica, but about hotels, running them. I hope to pick your brain a little bit about comparing your life in the South versus Tamarindo. We'll see what we get to. If you like straightforward information about Costa Rica with some of the best experts around, do be sure to subscribe to my channel. Without further ado, we'll let Brad say something here. Brad, give us a brief overview of what you've done here in Costa Rica and your history in the country, both as a builder and hotel operator.
Yeah, I've been here 27 years, basically. I moved down here, I retired from building in California, moved down here and ended up falling back into it because of the lack of expertise in the country. So I started off down in Playa Tamarindo. I started building that area. I bought a hotel and remodeled it and ran that for a number of years. Then I moved up to Costa Rica, San Jose, the capital. I had a farm out in Cartago. I remodeled the property there. I bought a house in San Jose. I remodeled that and expanded that. Then I ended up moving up in this area, Guanacaste, Costa Rica, about 18 years ago. And I've been here ever since. I love it. I love it. I love this area. It's much more chill, being away from the capital more. And I've been building up here ever since. And when I showed up, it was about 2003 or 4, there was just this boom happened in the area.
It's interesting to hear from somebody. I've only had Guanacaste. I've lived right in this area since 2008. You mentioned, Guanacaste is way more relaxed than the capital, San Jose, the urban Central Valley. What sorts of differences do you really feel draw you to Tamarindo or have kept you here versus Dominical or the southern area? Or what are the big contrasts for you?
I'll be real honest with you. It was more of a lifestyle with family here. As down south, it was just a different lifestyle. It seemed a little more wild and people a little more wild, so I didn't like that. So I moved up here and settled in here, and I built many houses here, from beach hill houses to on the hills, up to 18,000 square feet. And I've been doing that all these years, and it's been, timing was lucky when I came in. It worked out, it was great. And I like doing quality projects, high end I like, but I like doing something, something that's fairly nice. And I've really never built anything cheap. I've never had that market. Probably been too expensive for it, but I like doing nice stuff. And all my clients are generally foreigners who want to be able to communicate and trust, and I'm trustworthy, and everybody knows me.
Yeah, that's definitely, Brad mentioned at the beginning that there was an opportunity for good builders here in Costa Rica, and if you're watching out there, so many people write to me saying, I've heard horror stories about the contractors. They don't want to buy a piece of land and build their own house because of all of these negative experiences they hear about. And what I say to those people often is that those horror stories online are because people are always motivated to get on and type out their horror story and get back at their contractor. You rarely hear from the thousands of happy customers that work with good contractors. Yeah, they build their house, they move on with their life, and they never feel it necessary to spend all day blogging online about their completely normal Costa Rica construction experience. Tell us about your building materials, what strategies you typically use. Are you a concrete or steel frame builder? What do you like to work with here in Costa Rica, and why?
Basically, I believe, why don't Rome do like the Romans? And the Romans here wanted out of concrete. Why? Because of the R factor, of the insulation of the building. It's much better to do it with concrete. They have great laws in place here for earthquake proofing buildings, seismic and all that kind of coding put in place. It's great here. So I love building here. I did 7 disasters on the West Coast, and I know all about building for earthquakes. So it's built, everything I build really good. I fill all the cells of the blocks. I put extra rebar. I try to overbuild so virtually an elephant can stand on the roof. And that's the form I've always done, and
Yeah.
people understand it. Plus, what I offer is California standard systems, electric, plumbing, HVAC, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's very important because they have where their weaknesses are in roofing, doing roofing, electrical, some of the plumbing,
Yep.
septic systems. Those 4 things I've pretty much invented my own ways of doing them and brought information from California.
Yeah.
So that's the way I build here.
Yeah. I'd say that's one of the key areas where people find the flaws in their new home. Plumbing here, I mean, you find every kind of really bad solution to problems that plumbers do. You know, on different job sites, you get electricians and sort of the different systems involved with a house that aren't to the level of that California builder, and people moving in then find out that their outlets aren't grounded, or, you know, all kinds of wacky things.
There's not a lot of schooling for that. So it is getting taught. Since 2002, the boom, it has been being taught all
Yeah.
along by people like me coming in. A lot of people, there's quite a few now up and down the coast that have their companies, but the rest of them aren't, you know. So you have to be careful. My recommendation to anybody watching this who wants to build is call me.
Yeah.
Secondarily, do good research on who you're using. Really good research.
Yeah, and that's something that I've emphasized constantly in these videos. Your biggest asset is the research that you do. Those horror stories about Costa Rica largely come from people not doing their research, trusting somebody they shouldn't have trusted, and making a bad decision about who they're working with, whether it's their realtor, their builder, their lawyer, their escrow service agent. They get tied with the wrong person, and it's all history from there.
Exactly.
To go back to the construction technique, you were talking about filling up the cells. You're talking about reinforced concrete walls. So tell us, in a typical concrete construction that you're doing, and I think that a lot of builders are using here to avoid problems with earthquakes, you've got steel rebar starting in the foundation, and tell me about where it goes from there and how it ties all in.
Well, it's interesting here. They got great seismic coating, like I said before. What they do is on all corners and going up on windows and doors, you have a cage of rebar with wraps around going up. So it's kind of like similar to the States, where you have supports holding your headers up over your windows, your doors. All corners have supports. And then at the bottom, they have a grade beam with wraps all the way around the foundation and on interior loaded walls. On top of all those posts going up to the top of the wall, they do another wrap grade beam around the whole top.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And then they fill in between. Out of those grade beams, they have bars come up where all the walls are going up.
Yep.
And they put that, every other hole has a rebar that goes in it. Goes
Yep.
down, is tied into the foundation, and is tied into the corona viga, they call it.
Uh-huh.
And down below it's a viga de placa.
Yep.
So very strongly built,
Uh-huh.
very, very strongly built. And like I say, where you have to be careful here is they bid really low sometimes. And I just go, can't be done.
Yep.
Can't be done. And so they'll try to make up for that. They'll put a lighter gauge rebar. I even see them put number 2 wire, which is illegal now. And they do all the structure with that as their grade beams and their wraps and columns. On
Yep.
top of that, they don't put the right mix. When you mix here, a lot of projects aren't being poured with cement trucks here. They're being hand mixed in a mixer.
Yep.
So you have to know the right mix for the size of your mixer to make it a 2800 psi mix, so it dries. What that means is it dries to 2800
Yep.
per square inch force, and that makes for a California standard earthquake proof construction.
Yeah.
I offer that, other people might, but you never, when these low prices come in, it's alarming. The prices I hear are alarming here for meter square prices,
Yeah. You owned a 22-room beachfront place down in Dominical. Now we're sitting in Casa Leona, a hotel in Playa Tamarindo that's for sale. Let's first compare and contrast tourism scenes here you were down in Dominical a long time ago. You were saying your beachfront place had a little bit different feel. What's it like owning and operating hotels in Costa Rica, and how has it evolved over your 30 years here?
It's a good business. It's a great business. Tourism is number 1 in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
That's their number 1 way of making money. So obviously there's a lot of tourism here. Down south, I owned that many years ago. It was 22 rooms, surf hotel. Had a restaurant, formal restaurant back outside the zona maritima, they call it, means 200 feet back. And then I had an informal one under the palm trees.
Yep.
It was a great business, but I sold it, and I moved on, and it was a surf hotel, so it was much cheaper, much less tourism back then.
Okay.
But it was great at the time. I loved it. I surfed, and I had it, and I ran it, and I loved it. It was a great experience. Now move on. I took a break for 5 years, went to the city and lived. Then I moved up here, like I say, about 18 years ago or so. I've been building all those years for everybody.
Yep.
Then I decided to build my wife this to run, and I built this in the last 5 years. We converted Casa Leona, 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, built the 4 studios, built Casa Montana and the 2 pools and this kitchen here. And it is dynamite. It is doing dynamite. There's a part of me that doesn't want to sell it. There's a part of me that does.
Yep.
It's a great business. I suggest it to anybody who can afford it and who wants the job to make money while they're having fun in Tamarindo, Costa Rica.
Yep.
It's a great way. It's not hard compared to compared to construction. It's a very easy business.
Well, and yeah, you're interacting with people, generally speaking, who are extremely happy. Mm-hmm. They're on a beach vacation in Costa Rica.
Rubber time. Mm-hmm.
Tell us specifically more about the hotel and all that you have within this property. We're about 3 blocks down to the beach. A block is such a general term. It's got to be half a mile walking distance down to Tamarindo's. The sand, you're that same distance from the nightlife. You've got really good access. Yet we're seated back sort of in a residential area. I'll put up a map that we can take a look at so you can get an idea for the general location of Casa Leona. What do you have here in terms of suites, homes, etc. to rent to people?
Okay. Casa Leona is comprised of 3 lots. The first lot we started with Casa Leona, and it has 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, and about 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
With a pool inside Spanish colonial style. People love it. It's open in the center to the sky. People just are intrigued by it.
Yep.
That's one of the houses. And then the next lot I bought was next door, and I built 4 studio apartments with an office and a laundry area, and that does very good. That Casa Leona has everything has on their own bathroom ensuite. The studios are the same way. There's 4 studios with their own bathrooms, so everything's very comfortable, very well appointed. We spared no expense in the furnishings and everything. And then we go up above and we have Casa Montana, which is a lot more recent. I finished about 6-7 months ago, and that's about 1,600 square feet.
Okay.
With 2 bedrooms and 2 full baths, a studio and a kitchen, and the whole living room area.
Yep.
And it has a day bed also kind of deal that sleeps 2 people. So it has 2 queens in one room, a king in the other, plus this what do you call it, trundle bed.
Yep.
So it can sleep up to 8 people.
Yeah.
Most likely be kids on the trundle bed, but
yeah,
people rent it all the time.
Yep.
The advantage of this property that it was by mistake is the house rents like crazy. The 5-bedroom, 5-bath house.
Yep.
It does dynamite. The studios do dynamite. So we built another house up above, a smaller house. It's the combination of things.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
that combination, there's just people here all the time. Last month we rented the whole month to a group of people. That was sold out.
Yep.
Then that ended, and it's just been clicking. The pandemic obviously put the brakes on, but we're going gangbusters.
Yep. No, I always suggest to people who really are looking for the highest ROI, first of all, don't look at something that's strictly a hotel, because strictly hotels, you're going to be really confined to a certain type of rental audience and its rooms. Here, yeah, you've got essentially 2 different homes, a 2-bedroom and a 5-bedroom, with that spectacular Spanish colonial sort of, something special at Casa Leona, rental suites as well, 4 of those. So you're in a position where, yeah, you could host a wedding or a wedding group, and those kinds of groups, they're limited to the places where they can find. Yeah, we need a 2-bedroom house for the bride and groom, plus we need suites for this level of, wedding guest, and then another home for the bridal party, for example. And all sorts of opportunities where people need to get 10 rooms, 15, well, in your case, up to totaling them, the 11 rooms. And they couldn't do that at a hostel or hotel. They wouldn't want to because they want their own spot. And those groups pay great rates where you might only have that week of the year 60% occupancy, and if you were running a hotel, but suddenly you get a group that's filling you up, paying for breakfast, and really going to a different price point altogether on a rental. So that attracts me very much, as the opportunity to have something that's adaptable to all seasons, audiences, etc. What sorts of rates, I know this is fluctuating, going, crazily different depending on pandemic conditions versus a strong economy. Let's talk about a nice 1-bedroom suite with bathroom here in your hotel. What sort of high season rental rate for a night or week would you ask people in this kind of location, saying, we're back next year in the high season, it's not the middle of a travel closure, etc., in Tamarindo? What sorts of rates are you looking for?
We were, before the Casa Montana got done in the pandemic, believe it or not, but I know the pricing based on Casa Leona. The studios rent for $150 to $160 a night per studio. Casa Leona rents for, I think it was up around $600 or $650 and for the whole house a night.
Yep.
Casa Montana, if it goes back full bore, it will be $450 a night.
Yep.
Maybe $4.
Yep.
So you're looking at about, it's probably $1,650 to $1,700 a night for the whole property.
Yep.
Now we do, because we're 5 years old and Casa Montana is new, and I didn't finish the pool for the studios before, most likely, you know, you want to be really conservative. You book that at, you know, 50%, you're looking at $300,000 a year gross.
Yep.
That's only at 50%. We were taking off before the pandemic. If I would have had all of this ready and the pandemic didn't hit, my feelings is we do things so good, we run it so good, it's so clean. Just keep it really clean, keep buying bedding, da 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 da.
Yep.
I think it'd be closer to 70 and plus
Yep.
percentage, which is over 400,000 a year.
Yep.
Which it has about a full staff will run you maybe, you know, staff with insurance, all the water, electrical, everything is looking about $60,000.
Yep, as a base
a year.
operating cost.
That's it. So that would be your cost pretty much at the high end, because that's figuring out the electrical kind of high, you know, not in any low months or anything. So
Definitely.
it's got a lot of room for profit, and you'll definitely get a return on investment ROI in less than 10 years.
Yeah. No, and I think a 70% occupancy rate would be a great number to tell people that's a well-run and, like you're saying, high-quality hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in the rooms here and you feel this is comfortable. I could stay here. I'd bring my mother here.
Mm-hmm.
She has very exacting standards and, you know, is the first person to call management when something's not clean. This is not a place run for surfers or, you know, people looking for the cheapest price, but instead a nice experience. And especially, you know, Costa Rica has such a strong return audience, and businesses build themselves furiously from one year to the next, where you suddenly get, even if it's 10 or to 30% of the people who visited 1 year are thinking about a return trip the next year. You look at how those numbers affect occupancy over time, and soon you've got a hotel where following, you know, in April, you've got people checking out who are already booking their stays next high season. Yeah. And these boutique hotels that are run well with loving care by their owners, people who actually care about the experiences of the people checking in. Quickly you see everybody returning year after year.
It's a great market.
Yeah.
It's just like you say, people are coming here in droves.
Yeah.
You're going to buy now with him, because the market is, I've studied markets my whole life. I've seen in California 4 or 5 since I was a kid, because my dad was a developer.
Yep.
And it is coming. It's picking up. Everything is selling under the sun right now.
Yep.
And it's gonna get better or worse, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, no, the fact that this is a person who's seen the cycles in Costa Rica now, seen markets come and go. Part of your interest in selling is very much that you know right now is a good market to be selling property. There's strong support. This isn't a total buyer's market for people coming in and looking to make predatory offers. I still hear every week from people saying, well, I think that there's got to be a lot of bankruptcies. I want to get foreclosure properties. And I say, no, the opposite is true. The pandemic has stressed out so many people. Our little country has been presented as this chance to escape to a cohort of Americans and Canadians that is looking for anywhere else to vacation, to get out of their city, to get out of suburbs. And we've seen that since the borders opened, I mean, our high season seemed, for real estate was not just picking up where we left off before the pandemic, but accelerating rapidly.
Yeah.
But you've seen a lot of movement, and you've seen very much that...
a lot of buyer tourists, as opposed to people are just going on vacation. People want a piece of this. This place is beautiful.
Yeah.
And they want a piece of it. And,
Definitely.
good or bad, that's where it is, and it's a gorgeous place. Just don't pave paradise. Just keep it the same.
Yeah, we don't want a tree museum. There's...
No.
And I think Costa Rica has balanced that well. Even in places where some people feel that there's been too much development, or that it's sort of really busy and built now, You know, we're sitting in the middle of Tamarindo, 15 meters from a spectacular Guanacaste tree, in the shade of another over there. I mean, um,
When you fly out of here, you see it. When you fly out of here, it's just green
it's
everywhere.
yeah, exactly. We've got one tower, a few towers that poke out of the landscape here and there, but it's a total difference to Miami. Casa Leona is a business here in Tamarindo for sale at $2.5 million. It's turnkey running. You're talking about a 60,000 operating cost versus 400,000 gross income if you can get that up to just a 60 or 70% occupancy rate. Yep.
I think we're on a march up, and if you want a piece of paradise, now's the time.
Yeah. And if you've decided that this area is somewhere you want to invest and you're considering buying a business or a home, email me. My address is matt@lat10realty.com. I'll put that right here. Thanks so much for watching today. Thanks to you, Brad, for joining me. Do be sure to subscribe. I'll put the icon here so you can easily with one click. Have a great day. Pura vida. Thanks again.